Okay, I am back out here. I'm going to give this another try. So I have marked where the tang is and where the end of my hole is. So we will see. I'm fixing to cut it out on the bandsaw and then knock these corners off on my router and then go to shaping this handle. Can't help about the shape I'm in. I can't sing, I ain't pretty, and my legs are thin. Don't ask what kind of wood that is. I might not give you the answer that you want me to. Well, no bleed throughs, no oops. So now I'm gonna hand sand this. I'm gonna hand shape it, but I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I don't like this hump being above the spine. So I'm gonna bring that down a little bit. It is kind of a meaty looking handle. So I'm gonna refine this just a little bit. I'm bringing the top of this down level with that spine. Well, I talked to God, he said he understands. He said, stick by me, I'll be your guiding hand. Okay. This is not the knife, that's the knife there. This is just a knife I'm gonna finish it on, hand sand it on, buff it. You know, I'll buff it and then I'll epoxy it. And we're getting there. I'm making some headway, All right, let me get to sanding on this and make it pretty. Just for those who may be curious, that song is called Oh Well. It was written by Peter Green. His name was Peter Greenbaum, but he was an original founding member of Fleetwood Mac before the Christy McVie, and who was that other guy? Lindsey Buckingham. It was back when they were a real rock and roll blues group, and that song was written and performed in 1969 by Fleetwood Mac then. And the same fella, Peter Greenbaum was his real name, Peter Green was his stage name. He also wrote Black Magic Woman, which I never heard Fleetwood Mac play. So maybe he sold the rights to that song to Santana, I don't know. But just a little tidbit of musical history. I love music from that era, and I'm not talking about pop that you heard played 97,000 times on the radio. I'm talking about what would be considered by some album stations as deep cuts. And I actually do think that got airplay, but most of the really good music you didn't hear on the radio. You had to buy the album to give you a deeper insight into the band's, I don't know, their direction, like Pink Floyd. You know, they had a bunch of hits, but if you ever bought a Pink Floyd album, there's an album called Uma Guma, or some people pronounce it Gumma, that, you know, it's got 13 songs you never heard of that are equally as paralyzing mentally as, I forget what actual hit was on that, but I can remember the lyrics, or maybe it was written on the album cover. Several small species of animals gathered together in a cave, grooving with a pick. I think that was on the album cover, and that was a long, long time ago. Okay, that's enough for you today. Okay, I'm back from the Googlearium. Fleetwood Mac did sing Black Magic Woman in 1968. They actually recorded it. And then Santana sang it for the first time, I believe, in 1970. So if you're into that era of music, listen to both. They're not, I don't think one's better than the other. I do think that all I have access to is a very scratchy copy of Fleetwood Mac singing it back in the day, 1968. And I can't find a clean version of it. And Santana, of course, you know, there's lots of modern versions of him singing that, and it's good. And I like them both versions. So there you go. I'll stop with the music. Okay, I got it sanded up to 800. Now, I'm happy with that shape. I think this is going to be all right. I'm fixing to go buff it, and then I'm going to, since I got to mix up some epoxy, I'm going to go ahead and drill a hole here and get my dowel cut and get that dowel epoxied in there. That way this will be ready for, you know, when I get to that. So, well, let me go put this on the buffer and we'll see what it looks like in 5 minutes. Well, it'll be like a click for you, but I'm going to click off and I'll be back in about 10 minutes. All right. Boy, did that buff up nice. This is the wood that came from Russia. Oleg Chechen burl. I have an awful lot of it. And I bought it from Oleg because shipping is incredibly reasonable from Russia to here. It's not epoxied on yet. Okay, I'm going to set that to the side. I'm going to get this drilled with my dowel in there and a slot cut in it and epoxied. When I epoxy this, I'll epoxy that because I got to sit here for a couple of hours and mop up the epoxy that's going to squeeze out. And probably after a couple hours, it'll stop. But okay, I am making some progress. If I can do that well here on this one, I'll be very happy. I got to shape. You know what? I won't get to putting this in today, but I'll get to putting the dowel in because I still have to shape that guard. That's just stuck on there, you know. I don't have it shaped yet like that is shaped, you know. Okay. Thank you, Jesus. I made a little progress and I didn't screw nothing up. Let's see if I can do that to this. Okay, I got a 1/2-inch hole drill. I'm fixing to go cut my dowel and cut the slot in the dowel. But do you mind if I pontificate for a moment? A friend and I were on the phone talking, and we both mentioned the tragedy of a young man that we know. He's probably 19, close to 20. And I'm not going to be too specific, but he will not move out. He will not get a job. He spends the entire day and night in his room playing video games. Never had a girlfriend, never lifted a finger, never had to sweat or get a callus or even a blister, never had to walk more than, you know, from the car in the driveway to the house or from the car into a Walmart. And he's a typical, I think, man of that age now. Here's the thing, he won't even go get his driver's license because if he gets his driver's license, that means he's even more likely to be forced to go to work. So he's 19 or 20, and won't get a driver's license, and we all know the reason why. And it's just indicative of an entire society. I'm not saying every young 19 or 20-year-old man is like this, but what I am saying is that there is an epidemic of worthless, fat pieces of flesh, breathing flesh that take up space and eat food and put absolutely nothing good into the world. No work, nothing. They don't buy with their own money. They live on other people's dime, and they bring absolutely nothing into the world except sloth and laziness and everything that goes with sloth and laziness, and being fat at a very young age, and not fat because he necessarily eats a lot, fat because he does nothing to burn calories. So, just sitting here thinking about if we had to go to war. Oh, and this particular person, my wife and I had one little involvement with him, right? And right away, he let us know that he had anger issues. And I chuckled, and I didn't say it, but I wanted to say, guys your age only have anger issues until they get punched in their freaking nose. You go getting mad at somebody because you got anger issues, you're going to get your ass kicked until those anger issues magically disappear. These are the kind of guys that beat their wives because they're too cowardly to have a fight with men, so they go home mad and they beat up on their wife. But those are the anger issue people right there. Anyway, just sitting here thinking about what a sad, sad state of the world we are in. And I can't stop thinking about the mess we're in. Here's another thing as a clear indication that we are definitely on the road to hell. And the Amber Heard Johnny Depp hearing, a court case, right? They got live cameras. This has been going on for what, a week, 10 days now? And every day it's broadcast. Our news is talking about it as if Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, I'm ashamed I know their names, somehow have some bearing on the horrible things that are going on all over this world. And that's more important, hearing about their case. So I'm scrolling through Facebook. I went and voted for my wife. She's entered a chopper building contest, and unless a lot of people go and vote for her, she's probably going to get booted out this next go-around because it's down to 750 people from... She made it through hundreds of thousands of people. It's down to 750. And the thing is, you can buy votes by donating to the animal refuge that they're, supporting. They're doing this for. And it buys you like 10 votes for so many dollars. And who can afford that? So actually some people can because they're in first place. Anyway, I come across this live feed of the court case, Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, on Facebook. And I'm thinking, what could it be? A couple of hundred people watching. Surely there's not that many people interested in watching the... And I look at the amount of people watching it, and it was several 100,000 people watching the live feed of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Can you imagine people with that little going on in their life, that they would have not only interest in the case, but sit there and watch it on Facebook. My mind is blown at the kind of world we are living in now. Alrighty. I really am in a funk, and it's just all adding up. It's everything. I'm happy, you know, I got a knife that's coming out really nice now, finally. And I'm happy with how that looks. And now I'm working on this, and this is going to look just fine. It's coming out good. But the external stuff, you know, the stuff that, the potential for a major war, being involved in a major war. I mean, we are involving ourselves in a major war. The country being led by an absolute imbecile. And can't complete a full sentence without stammering over words or forgetting what he was going to say. And yet 81 million people voted for the buffoon. And if that's true, what a sad state of affairs that is, that there's 81 million people that would actually, truly pull the lever for a complete incompetent. And then I left a comment on Southern Prepper One's video. It was a couple days ago. I just left a comment. It was just me leaving my opinion, and I got like 100 people in the comment replying to my comment. So my email is blowing up every time I get a reply to that. I don't know why people can't just let me have my opinion and then leave their own opinion somewhere else. And I was just saying that, you know, there are those that love Biden and hated Trump, and there are those that love Trump and hated Biden. And my point was, those two are draft dodgers. Without a doubt, they're draft dodgers. They got deferment after deferment after deferment, and then when the deferments run out, they went medical, got disqualified medically, both of them. Trump had bone spurs, and this is after being a collegiate athlete, suddenly had bone spurs, and it was come when his draft number came up, right? Same with Biden. Biden beat up Corn Pop, was a tennis player, a football player, a baseball legend, and then all of a sudden, right when the draft card hit his hand, developed asthma and was medically disqualified from going and serving in Vietnam. Clinton, draft dodger. GW, I think technically he was a draft dodger. He got a draft card, a draft notice, and he knew that if he joined the Texas Air National Guard, he would not have to go to Vietnam. And we joined the Texas Air National Guard and became a pilot. And he did so poorly and showed up so infrequently for his once-a-month trills that he lost his rating as a pilot, and he lost his pilot's license. But they didn't kick him out because that's what kept him from going to Vietnam. And my point was, all these people, all these war hawks that are quite willing to send your children to die could not find it within their own selves to go and serve their country in a war that somebody else started. Just sickening that we've allowed these people to become commanders-in-chief with their own personal records of cowardice. All right. I'm done pontificating. See you soon. Okay. This is post-pontificating. I have this in my squeeze 'em up jig with the epoxy in. Now I'm going to sit here for about, probably 2 hours and take these Q-tips, and as little epoxy squeezins ooze out of their little cracks and crevices, I'm going to mop them up with some acetone-soaked Q-tips. And tomorrow, I'll buff this up one final time. Maybe have to do a little, minor sanding, but that's okay. So there we go. let me go wash some of the sawdust out of my eyes, because my glasses were covered in sawdust, and I guess the nature of the wind coming in the back door here has really stirred the sawdust up, and my eyes are burning. So gotta go wash my hands and wash the sawdust out of my eyes and drink a cup of coffee. Well, here we are, sitting in the dark. A storm come through, knocked our lights out. And my wife called the electric company to report it, and they said, "We don't see a problem in your area." And looking out the doors, our street, the street over, I mean, there's not a house in our town with the lights on. So, anyway.
Well, I did look at the outage map,
Yeah.
according to on their website, and it said from Karnak
Yeah.
all the way to Wascom.
Okay, so it's
But-
north of us?
But, you know, according to them, we had electricity here. So.
Yeah, well, it's pouring out, or else I go start the generator. And,
I didn't even know
well, I want to watch TV, you know, and I want my coffee to be hot. Fortunately, you made coffee before the power went out. Ah, good coffee. Oh, well. Well, we've been out of power since about 3 o'clock this morning. Bev's generator is running. I don't have mine on. And according to Swepco, the lights should be on here in a little bit. They came on for about 10 seconds and went back off, so they're working on it. So in the meantime, I'm gonna have me a spam omelet, a spamlet. All right, it is nice to have a way of cooking without electricity. All right, let's eat.